RetroDaze.
One of our recent videos, a nostalgic trip to the movies, garnered a few responses from viewers about their memories of drive-in movies as opposed to traditional movie theaters. Since we take viewer suggestions seriously, our 1-year anniversary mystery video will confirm that, it was a no-brainer for us to also cover this popular topic. As the RetroDaze team fires up the magic time machine for yet another trip into the past, a few precautions are necessary because we're testing out a few new features. Sure hope nothing bad happens to our gizmo, considering it's mostly held together with hopes, dreams, and a little duct tape. We load into the old tilt-a-whirl car, retrofit with buzzing and whirring electronic components, including our new ooze-powered flux capacitor, supercharged with the antenna from Bill and Ted's phone booth. We painted lightning bolts on the sides to pay proper homage to Joe Dante's classic film Explorers, under which we plastered images of Photog Smurf just so there's no confusion as to whom this magic time machine belongs. And yes, we know the Thunder Road in Explorers wasn't a time machine, but it is now. Would you like to do the honors? I ask, pointing to the big red button in the middle of the console. You nod excitedly. 3, 2, 1. You hit the button and there's an explosion of colored lights outside the craft. It coalesces into something of a rainbow bubble surrounded by strobing lights. The craft lifts off, vibrating and shaking until we reach the clouds. I point out into the dreamscape. A slideshow of drive-in history plays for us as we soar through a wormhole and into the nostalgic realm. Projected onto the walls of the wormhole, as if we were sitting inside the screen at a drive-in, we learn that although people started watching movies outdoors as far back as the 1910s, the first official drive-in theater was constructed by auto parts salesman Richard Hollingshead in 1933. At the time, customers paid a mere 25 cents entrance fee. The first movie ever shown at this drive-in was the British comedy Wives Beware. Although a few more drive-ins opened in the intervening years, they didn't really take off until the 40s. And by 1958, there were 4,063 drive-ins in the United States, mostly in rural areas, as a minimum of 15 acres for the lot was preferred. According to Encyclopedia.com, in the 1940s and 1950s, many owners capitalized on this idea of the drive-in being a place of family entertainment and offered features to attract more customers. Drive-ins had playgrounds, baby bottle warmers, fireworks, laundry services, and concession stands that sold hamburgers, sodas, popcorn, candy, hot dogs, and other refreshments. Though the golden age of drive-in theaters ran roughly from the 1950s through the 1960s, there was still a market, albeit a changing one, through the 70s and 80s. When the 1970s oil crisis hit, many people began skipping the drive-in to save on gas costs. To stay in business, some lots began showing more and more horror, B-movies, and even adult content. The great decline of the drive-in continued, and today there are roughly only between 300 and 400 such outdoor venues in operation. Even though the 70s and 80s marked a serious nosedive for drive-ins, that's exactly where our magic time machine is headed, so brace for impact.
Where should we go? Where's all the action on Friday night? The drive-in!
Our magic time machine floats down into an alternate realm of intermixed 70s and 80s charm. Right ahead of us, the giant screen of a local theater is aglow with images of B-movie perfection. We hover for only a moment before descending and exiting the vehicle. And would you look at that? We're young again, just like last time. It's the ooze in our flux capacitor, I explain. You're surveying the entrance of the drive-in and a concerned look crosses your face. Wait, don't we need a car to get in? And even if we had one, look at us, we're too young to drive. Producer Tony laughs and straightens the collar of his jean jacket. You keep forgetting the magic part of our magic time machine. He hits the side of the vehicle like the Fonz hitting a jukebox, and it transforms before our eyes into a 1977 Dodge Diplomat. He reaches inside and scoops some ooze from the flux capacitor, then splashes everyone, and we age up to 17. Groovy. Now, get in the trunk, Tony commands. The trunk? You stammer? Hey, You wanted the full drive-in experience, right? Well, before they started charging per carload, we'd usually jam 1 or 2 people in the trunk to save a few bucks. You say, that's stealing. Oh, besides, we need the trunk space to sneak in beer. Tony thinks this over before agreeing that yes, the beer is essential. Apparently, this older teen version of the RetroDaze gang is, dare I say, cool? Well, okay. No, we're definitely not cool, but we sure are trying pretty hard. Alyssa has outgrown her neon attire and Nickelodeon shirts, opting for big hair and a chambray jumpsuit. And writer Tony, well, he's still dressed like Freddy Krueger, which is getting a little bit weird. Never mind all that. We pile into the car and I pull up to the ticket booth where an exhausted middle-aged man steps out and takes our money in exchange for what looks like raffle or carnival tickets instead of the fancy printout kind you'd get at the real movie theater. He says, no outside food or drink. Tune your radio to 87.9 for the movies. Concessions available all night. He eyes us suspiciously. You don't got anyone stashed in the trunk now, do you? We say no, and he seems to believe us, so we pull into the vast lot ahead that has already filled in with a dozen or so other cars. The unwritten rule was that families park near the front, teen groups or dates parked in the middle rows, and teens who were looking to snuggle, well, they parked in the back where it was nice and dark. The aisles are lined with poles that used to hold radios, but those were used less and less as time went on, and movie soundtracks could be broadcast directly to car radios. Some drive-ins in the 80s still use them, but this place seems to have only left the poles as a way of demarcating where cars should park. Voiceover John sure can get long-winded sometimes. It's almost like someone is forcing him to read these words. Well, anyway, you look super familiar to me, viewer. Almost as if you've been here before, and yet you're not yet subscribed. Well, let's get that fixed. Yeah, right down there. Yeah, at the bottom of the page. Got it! Now we get to hang out again every Saturday with brand new retro topics. See you then. Once we find a good spot, I joke, no outside food or drink, he says. Even though we absolutely plan on hitting concessions, like our previous trip to the movie theater, it never hurts to come prepared. Of course, being in a car allows for even more snacks. No longer are we relegated to the size of our pockets, and we took full advantage. In the trunk, we have a cooler filled with beer and soda. There's Dr. Pepper, Tab, Orange Slice, and is that a Hubba Bubba soda?
Hubba Bubba me, Hubba Bubba you, Hubba Bubba Bubble Gum Soda is new.
Hubba Bubba is so cool.
Bubble Gum Soda, Hubba Bubba Bubble Gum Soda. They got the bubbles, they got the smiles, they got the taste that's gonna drive you wild. Hubba Bubba, Bubble Gum Soda, love that Hubba Bubba Bubble Gum Soda.
Whoa, deep cut. We also smuggled in Pizzarias pizza chips, Jumpin' Jack Cheese Doritos, and Crunch Taters.
You crunch taters, mighty mesquite. When that crunch explodes, knock me off my feet. That barbecue, I'm telling you, got a thunderous crunch, so tell the bunch. There's a real taste explosion between the flavor and the crunch. Lay's Crunch Taters, extra crunchy potato chips. There's a barbecue taste explosion between the flavor and the crunch.
Let's go ahead and assume that the trunk is literally overflowing with junk food and drinks, because this is one of those theaters that started opting for double and triple feature marathons for the customers rather than attempting to sell tickets to single movies. Many drive-ins operated this way even before the decline due to the kinds of B-movies and second-run films they tended to get. Our double feature, as proclaimed by the giant marquee at the entrance, is Little Shop of Horrors followed by Gremlins, which by all accounts is a darn good lineup. There's still some daylight left to burn off before the first feature, but that doesn't stop the projectionist from playing some pre-roll.
Folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty array of snacks we have to offer. So will the youngsters. Everything is quality and so good. We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends. There are always wonderful new pictures to see, delightful snacks to nibble, a gay, pleasant evening for all. Oh, a word of caution. Don't drive over 10 miles an hour in the theater area for your safety's sake. And Mom or Pop, go with the kids when they leave the car. We hope you have a wonderful time. Come back soon.
We take their advice and walk down to the concession stand, which is a small building at the center of the lot. On the way, we see lots of other people chatting outside their cars, strolling around the land, and retreating back to their vehicles with bags of popcorn and drinks. Once inside, we're hit with an insane combination of wonderful aromas. Sure, we have all the same delicious smells that you got at your regular movie theater, like popcorn and hot dogs, but the drive-in concession stand also has a fully functioning grill. Hamburgers, French fries, chicken nuggets, corn dogs, and even pizza are on the menu. For dessert, there are milkshakes, soft-serve ice cream, and candy bars. Not to be outdone by other movie theaters, there were also banks of boxed candies like Sour Patch Kids, Junior Mints, Snow Caps, Goobers, and Raisinets. And of course, plenty of popcorn to go around. Back in the car with our loot, we all drink and snack as the sun dips below the horizon. As the sky takes on a deep blue hue with vibrant pinks along the far reaches of the world, the projectionist shows coming attractions, followed by a Three Stooges short. When the first feature begins, we turn up the radio and quiet our chatter. We feel insulated in our dedicated space where we can hunker down and create our own special atmosphere. Talking during the movie and goofing around with each other is okay here because we're not ruining anyone else's experience in our little car. Besides, these are old releases that we've seen before, making the whole experience very different from the indoor theaters where we pay a premium for a new release. There's something more laid back about the drive-in, and that ain't just the beer talking. After the first show, we're treated to an intermission. More concessions and a bathroom break, everybody.
Oh, the time is now, the time is here. Now's the time for a bite of cheer. A tasty light where the price is right. Well, look at here, you'll dig the sight. The moment's handy for a piece of candy. Just name your brand, they're all so grand. Hey, what do you think of a nice cool drink? Or a big box filled with a popcorn thrill? Let your taste buds meet with an ice cream treat. Refresh yourselves, it's time to eat. So come on, folks, let's join the band as we all head for the refreshment stand.
Not that we needed more snacks, but we bought more snacks. What can I say? Those wonderful intermission trailers always get me hankering for a corn dog and nachos. There's something about that radioactive nacho cheese that is both alarming and irresistible. Piled back in the car, the second movie starts, and I find myself gazing into the sky at the stars. We have all the windows open, and the night breeze carries scents of cut grass, popcorn, and something unidentifiable. Not quite an aroma, rather the essence of the drive-in itself. A mixture of atmosphere and emotion, particular to watching movies outside, surrounded by a summertime attitude and spooky late-night enchantment. As Gremlins plays on the screen and the overabundance of snack food weighs you down, the subtle drive-in soundtrack rocks you to sleep. You let the drowsiness take over, still hearing the far-off sounds of Gremlins invade your dreams.
I took the liberty of whisking you back to the future as you slept. I hope you don't mind having missed the end of the movie, but I think you'll agree that even a little nap during a drive-in double feature was part of the experience for some. I don't know about you, but those outdoor movie sojourns were some of the most memorable of my life. And if you never had the chance to attend, well, there are still a few hundred such venues scattered around the country. Tony, our writer, for instance, told me that although he never got to attend a drive-in as a kid, he's since been to his local outdoor theater, the Mahoning Drive-In, more times than he can count. Well, how about you? What are some of your fondest memories of the drive-in? Did you go as a kid, or as an adult, or not at all? I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. And if you enjoy our content, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even activating that ubiquitous notification bell. It really does make a huge difference. Let's meet again next week to celebrate Yesteryear, right here on RetroDaze.
clicky clacky.